Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling something that's absolutely fundamental to being human, but also, let's be honest, a huge source of our problems. We're talking about effective communication.
So let's just dive right in with a question that I think we've all asked ourselves at some point. Why is it that we can spend all day talking to people, but still end up feeling completely misunderstood? How does that happen?
The source material for this explainer really hits the nail on the head here. When communication breaks down, it's not like there's just nothing. It creates this empty space, right? And our brains just hate a vacuum. So we fill it, but we fill it with all the worst stuff. Suspicion, guesswork, you name it. And that's where the real damage starts.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the cost of silence. Then, we'll get into the 3 communication styles. This is a big one. After that, we'll tackle the common listening and speaking barriers. And then, the good stuff, building a communication bridge. We'll wrap up by thinking about your next conversation.
All right, first things first. Let's talk about why this matters so much. This isn't just some academic exercise in getting your point across. No, the stakes are way, way higher. We're talking about the actual health of our relationships.
So, what is communication, really? I mean, at its core, it's just getting an idea or a feeling from your brain into someone else's. Sounds super simple, right? But as we all know, it is loaded, and I mean loaded with traps.
And this is probably the biggest trap of all. We just assume people can read our minds. We think they should know how we feel or what we need without us ever saying a word. It's like we're setting up these invisible tripwires of expectation, and then we get mad when someone stumbles over them. But the reality is, nobody's a mind reader. Okay, so let's get into diagnosing the issue. A huge part of this comes down to our personal style. There are basically 3 main ways we tend to communicate, and trust me, figuring out which one is your go-to, that's a total game changer. All right, take a look at this. What I love about this is how it shows that our behavior isn't random. It starts with a core belief. So you've got the aggressive style, which is all about that I'm right, you're wrong mindset. It's a win-lose game. Then you flip the coin and you've got the passive style. That's rooted in the belief that your rights matter more than mine. But the sweet spot where we all want to be is assertive. The core belief there, we are both valuable. It's not about winning or losing, it's about finding a way for everyone to feel heard and respected.
So, okay, let's say you're trying your best to be assertive. That's great, but there are still these hidden roadblocks that can just totally wreck a conversation. Let's talk about what these barriers actually are.
Let's start with the listening side of things. And be honest with yourself here. Do any of these sound familiar? Interrupting, getting distracted, oh, and my personal favorite, topping their story. You know what I mean, right? Your friend is complaining about a bad day, and you jump in with, oh, you think that's bad? Let me tell you about my day. It just shuts them down completely. All of these things basically send one message. I'm not really listening, I'm just waiting to talk. And then, of course, there's the flip side, the barriers we put up when we're the ones talking. Things like having an unclear message, mumbling, assuming the other person knows what you're talking about, all of this just creates static. You're basically making the listener do all the work, and frankly, most people won't bother. Okay, so we've looked at the problem, we've identified the different styles, we've pointed out the roadblocks. So now for the million-dollar question. What do we do about it? How do we actually start building that bridge to get to the other side, to real connection? And here it is. This is your 6-step game plan. And notice, step 1 is plan ahead. It starts before you even say a word. Then you have things like listen to suggestions and have empathy, which remind us it's a 2-way street. It's not just about you. Then you get into the nitty-gritty. Observe body language. Be specific. This isn't just theory. This is a practical blueprint you can use. All right, let's pull all of this together, because the whole point of this isn't just to know this stuff, it's to actually do it. Let's talk about how this applies to your very next conversation. Really, when you boil it all down, it comes to this one huge mindset shift. Assertive communication is not about winning an argument. It's not a fight. It's about working together to build something. You're building understanding, you're building respect. It's really a choice. Are you going to build a bridge, or are you going to build a wall? So as we finish up here, I want to leave you with this thought. Don't feel like you have to change everything overnight. That's impossible. Just think about one small thing. What's the one tiny change you can make in your next conversation, maybe even today, that will help you start building a stronger bridge?